We're here at the Tribeca Film Festival speaking with
Tolga Karachilik, the writer, director, and one of the producers of the film.
Very nice. Thank you so much for speaking with me. So, Shallow Tale is the abbreviation, but the full name of the film is?
That's a test. Shallow Tale of a writer who decided to write about a serial killer.
It's interesting, the length of that title. How did that end up being the final name for the film?
I think it gives an idea about what the film is about. It does. I was always thinking about this title while I was writing the script, and of course my partner producers were not so happy about it because they are the ones who are filling the forms.
Okay.
So, but I wanted to keep it this way, so it stayed.
Okay. Tell me about one of your favorite memories of working on this project. What was something that jumped out to you that you'll always remember for your career?
Wow, there are lots of ones. But like there was one moment we were shooting in Chinatown Friday night, and it's 3 a.m. and the cops are. We don't have any permits after 3 a.m.
Okay.
So the last shot, I don't know how we took it. Like we made the camera ready, and all the crew members were running around like crazy.
Yeah.
And 3:00 we finished, and 3:01 we were seeing the sirens of the police car. So
wow,
it was really hardcore.
Yeah, that sounds super intense, especially in Chinatown. It's a hustling, bustling neighborhood. So we have a stellar cast that's in the film. I know that you worked with Steve Buscemi and Britt Lower. Tell me about working with them and their experience on this project.
Well, of course, Steve Buscemi is a legend. I never could imagine that even in my wildest dreams to be able to work with Steve Buscemi it's kind of like was not not in my bucket list.
Yeah.
But he was the first one to jump into the film and get casted. And then John Magaro, I always had his picture on my desktop while I was on my writing desk when I was writing the script.
Yeah.
A shot of him from a first cover, I guess. Yeah. And Britt, I always loved. The way that she acted, everything like, and then when we first met with Britt and John, it was love in the first sight, and all the other actors, like the ones with the minor roles and bigger ones, like everyone was great in this film. I really enjoyed working with all my actors.
Shallow Tale. So we're here at the premiere. How are you feeling?
It's cool to be here. You know, it's always good to be back with the crew and gang, and I see a lot of familiar faces. You know, when you do these things, these movies, a lot of time passes and you don't see the people for a long time. So it's always nice when you get to come back together and celebrate it, even though we don't know how it's going to be received.
100%.
But what's even more special about this one is it was shot here in New York.
Yeah.
I live here in New York. Britt lives here in New York. Steve lives here in New York. So it's great to get to share it with a hometown crowd.
Yeah. And you're back again at Tribeca. I was able to catch Leroy, and that movie was awesome. So absolutely crushed.
Thank you.
Tell me about the role that you have in this film. A little bit different than Leroy, but what are you doing over here?
Yeah, so you'll catch a theme. Like I'm drawn to dark comedies. That's the kind of comedy I like. You know, I do a lot of more dramatic things in my career, typically more serious things. But I'm a big comedy fan.
Yeah.
I'm just not like really great at broad comedy. But I also like dark comedies because it's just I think it's a lot richer.
Yeah.
And it's also a lot more disturbing, and it really like can push the boundary of like what's okay and what's not okay.
Yeah.
And this film certainly does that. I mean, can you sympathize with a serial killer?
I don't know.
Can you sympathize with people who are vain and kidnappers and you know, egotistical and it was just a bizarre script, and we'll see how it comes off. But I certainly was excited to take that risk. And I'm glad you saw Leroy. You know that we were sort of in the same boat last year.
Yeah.
I think Ray's a little more sympathetic than these guys are, but it's a fun genre to mess around with.
Yeah. So the first thing I have to ask is the dress, the design. Who are you wearing?
This is Tanner Fletcher. They're an amazing duo designer, and I just adore them, and I love their pieces of art. Having a lot of fun wearing this today.
Oh, absolutely stunning. I had to get that one out of the way first. So congratulations on this film. Tell me a little about your role that you play in this project.
I play Susie. Susie's married to Keen, who's having a hard time with his writing, and he's also having a hard time inside of our marriage. And he consequently finds a mentor in both arenas, in the unlikely Steve Buscemi, who plays a retired serial killer. And he becomes John Magaro, who plays Keen. He becomes his muse in his artwork and in his personal life and his marriage.
How do you feel about hearing that title, a retired serial killer? How does that just kind of roll off the tongue? And when you hear it, you're like, that's a little bit interesting or awkward, no?
Yeah, I think there's something about Tolga's writing that just is completely delightful and strange. And the script was a totally fresh take on this genre. I think there's something new to be seen here.
So I know that you also recently just wrapped season 2 of Severance. What can audiences look forward to with this new coming season?
There will be a season 2.
There will be a season 2.
And that's what they have to look forward to.
Oh, okay. That's good. So definitely stay tuned for more Severance because season 1 was great and season 2 is going to be better. Okay.
Proud of it. I mean, we had the best time filming it, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Awesome. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So there's 3 films that you have in the festival this year. That's quite a haul. How you feeling?
I'm feeling incredibly grateful. I'm feeling wonderfully overwhelmed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what the 3 films that you have. What are the titles of the films?
The Brown Dog, which is an animated short that Jamie James Medina and Natalie Halgren directed together.
Yeah.
It is the last work of Michael K. Williams.
Oh, wow.
And Steve voices a small part in it.
Yeah.
We were brought in and at the very sort of 11th hour, and it's an incredible privilege to get to share in this film, and also just to honor the legacy and honor the spirit of Michael K. Williams because he was such a lovely man.
Yeah.
And then I'm not directly producing, but I'm a consultant producer on 1-800 on My Own, which is Dana Floor directing the Ani DeFranco film, and it is. It's lovely, and I'm so proud of it. And Dana and I did Check It, which was also at the Tribeca Film Festival in 2017.
How do you sleep? How do you do it?
I don't sleep very much, and I think as an independent producer, I have to do this all the time. I mean, this is an extraordinary year for us because having 3 films in this festival is huge. Lovely. And we're, Steve and I are both New Yorkers. So it's even more meaningful.
So we're here for a Shallow Tale of Serial Killer, quite the title for a film. What are your feelings about this project as it goes into the world and has the world premiere?
I mean, I'm just excited for people to see it. Tolga is a real original storyteller. And he is a few people have said things like it's fresh and it's exciting and it's like nothing they ever would have imagined. And with a title like The Shallow Tale of a Writer Who Decided to Write About a Serial Killer, it now rolls off my tongue, but it took me 6 months. I'm really proud that people are going to get to see it tonight, and to get to see it with an audience that's not just made up of our friends. So Steve is incredible. John Magaro is just on your heart. You might be annoyed by him a little too. And Britt Lower is just a force. And we've all become friends, which doesn't always happen in every film. But I love Britt and I love John and I love Tolga and everybody a part of the film. I mean, it's really an extraordinary group of individuals. And a really old friend of mine who I adore, Susie Shopmaker, cast it, and she's having an unbelievable year with a BAFTA and the Holdovers and tons of other stuff. So it's great.
A lot of talented people, including yourself, that are on this project. In closing, what would you like to say to the Tribeca Film Festival for all of the acceptances, for all of the films?
I can't thank them enough. I don't know Jane well, but she's really an amazing woman, and obviously Mr. De Niro is incredible, and I think that all of the programmers and all of the publicity teams and everybody who works so hard to bring us this every year, I adore them, and I can't thank them enough for championing Olive, which is Steve and my company. It's huge. It means everything. It's the work, it's what you work for.
Speaking with
Scott Aharoni.
Nice to meet you, Scott. Tell me a little bit about your role in the project.
Yeah, I was the producer, one of the producers in the film.
So tell me a little bit about the producing aspect of this project. You have some great cast, you have some interesting locations. Heard you filmed over in Chinatown. How'd you put all that together?
Yeah, I mean, it's been over about two and a half years we've been putting this film together. We got an amazing cast with Steve Buscemi, Britt Lower, and John Magaro, all a New York cast. And, you know, we've just been really lucky to have an amazing crew, and we were able to work with people we've already worked with before because we shot it in our hometown of New York. But, you know, we shot in some of our favorite places we've seen before, and we're able to bring it to life in this film that our director loved.
Nice. So I love talking with producers because I'm interested in how you put the puzzle pieces together. So like after you read the script and you saw that you had to pitch it to the talent that's there and then you submit it to their agents, like, you know, who signed on first? Who said they loved it? Who wanted to do it? How did the pieces fall together?
Yeah, I mean, lucky enough, Steve Buscemi signed on first. We reached out to his agent, and our director was able to meet with Steve over Zoom, which is, we're really lucky to have Zoom available to us. Yeah. They hit it off, and Steve, you know, Steve really loves those really, you know, intricate, independent filmmaking, and, you know, it seemed like he wants to come back to that with this particular film, really, you know, jive with Tolga, our director. Yeah. And since after he signed on, everything kind of fell into place. Who wouldn't want to work with Steve?
That's true. That's true. We heard earlier from the director saying a legend, absolutely a legend here in New York. He has 2 films in the festival this year, so obviously continues to crush it. In your own words, how would you describe this film to audiences?
This film is one of the wackiest journeys you'll ever watch in a film. It's a retired serial killer who becomes a marriage counselor, and it's how all those different worlds combine and become one, and it's very fascinating to watch.
Speaking with
Nick Sidnani.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations on this film. Tell me a little about your role on this project.
I play Singh, who is the hotel manager of the hotel that Steve Buscemi's character, Colmick, and John Magaro's character, Keen, stay in. And that's where everything kind of unravels, and I start to sense that something is afoot.
Okay, so I was talking with a couple of the other actors, and I love asking about the casting process. So tell me a little bit about your role and like the casting aspect of it.
I mean, casting, you know, after the pandemic and the strike and everything, we've been starting that audition process at home so much, and it was really refreshing with this one because they got a space in the city, and it wasn't all through Zoom. And I got to work with Tolga in person as well, and we kind of knew in that session, right when we were like, you know, in that second, third audition, Tolga was kind of giving me that look. He was like, yeah, this is it. This is it. Yeah, I'm the guy. So it was really fun to audition for that process, through that process, and then of course be in the movie.
What do you love most about being an actor?
Oh man, honestly, I think it's meeting a lot of people, and it's like forming the unions and bonds that you do with people that you haven't known before. You know, I became really close with some of the folks here, Sydney over here to my left, Tolga and Scott, the producer, and Ren as well. I mean, all these people are really wonderful that I think once you collaborate with somebody once, you're sort of like, I think you're my person now. You know, you're my people, you're my crew, and we're just going to keep creating together.
Speaking with
Tara Cordy.
Hey Tara, thank you for stopping by to have a chat. Tell me a little bit about your role on this project.
Yeah, so I'm an executive producer on The Shallowtail. Over, you know, a few different moments of getting to be on set, I've met the amazing cast and crew and gotten to know them pretty well, and this is an amazing bunch of really talented individuals, so I'm super excited to be here with them at the premiere.
So when you were reading the script, what stuck out to you that you believed in this film, that you wanted to invest to make it a reality?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was hilarious, and it was so different in the way that the humor came across, that I was like, this is unlike anything that I've read, and there are just elements of like going back in time to the BC era, then coming back into the present time, and tying all of that together in such a funny way with these strong characters, John Magaro, Britt Lower, Steve Buscemi, that really made it all step off of the page and then on the screen when they were acting out the roles was just incredible.
Speaking with
Jacob Ming Trent.
Nice to meet you, sir. Tell me a little bit about your role on the project.
Well, I don't know if I want to give it away, man. I'm you know, driving one of the main characters around while, you know, a lot of wackiness is happening.
Okay.
So, you know, my character kind of gets involved more than he wants to.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the auditioning process that landed you this role.
Oh, I went in. They gave me the script and the sides. and I acted my ass off. And then they called up and said, you know, do you want to do it? And I was like, hell yeah. So, yeah.
What were the defining traits of your character that you had to fit in for this role?
Yes, curiosity, dealing with one's fear, you know, one's imagination. So definitely had to dive into what it was like to be dropped in the middle of some madness and what you do with that.
Nice. Okay. What do you love most about being an actor?
Tell stories. Yeah, man, it's good to tell stories, to be a storyteller, and maybe have a little effect on people's lives.